This is my apprentice, Darth Maul.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
So I'm just going to tie in behind the bead, and I'm going to thread the entire hook down to the bend, or close to it. Actually, I'm going to reposition this so I have a little more room. And you want your wraps nice and even. You don't want any bulges going up over each other. So just one right next to the other. And then you're going to come not quite to the bend, but pretty close to it. Then you're going to grab, for a size 18, I'm going to use 3 pieces of super hair, like so, and I'm just going to fold them in half. When you get good at tying these, you can just grab 6 pieces of super hair, and if you're tying a whole bunch of these things all at once. And then I cut it in half just to make this manageable, and I can get probably 3 flies out of this length right here. So all I'm going to do is, a lot of times you think, okay, long end out at the tail, this is going to be in reverse. So your tag end, which is going to be your short end, is going to be coming out the tail, and the longer part of this is going to be coming towards the bead like that. And I just like to run it up under the thread like that, let it set, and then I'm going to give it 1, 2, 3 wraps, all right next to each other so there's no bulge. And then I'm going to do 1 wrap all the way across in front of this long piece, and then thread the hook. Let me shorten this up. Then thread the hook all the way back up to the head again. I like to put a whip finish on this just to get that bobbin out of my way. Now you're going to take these long strands, you're going to wrap over, and then when you come up for this first complete wrap, you just want to make sure that all the pieces of super hair are side by side. And you're just going to wrap that all the way forward. All the way to the bead, and then you want to secure it behind the bead. So give it a few wraps just behind the bead, just to secure it. Now I'm going to get my piece of Mylar. I like a little longer piece of Mylar just so it's a little more manageable, and I can use it for another fly. But I'm going to take my piece of Mylar, come up underneath, let it set, then secure it. Put that in my little material holder, get it out of my way, and I'm going to cut the tag end. When you're cutting this, all you need is a slight little nip on the side, and then it pulls right off, and you can get that a little closer. Then I'm just going to use some hairline black fine dubbing, and I'm going to build a thorax behind that bead. I like to take just a little pinch of this stuff. I just wet my fingertips. I don't like to use any dubbing wax for something this small. And I just make a nice little dubbing noodle. In your little thorax behind or the collar behind the bead, you want it to be about as big as the bead. Okay, once you're done with your thorax, you want to bring your thread between the dubbing thorax and the bead. Now all you're going to do is kind of look at these. You should have 6, if you did this right, you should have 6 legs. So you just want to split those in half. And I kind of comb them out with my fingers just a tad, just to kind of see which way they naturally want to lie. And it looks like these 3 over here and these 3 over here. And I kind of pull them apart a little bit. And all I'm going to do is bring that piece of Mylar right between those 2 and just hold it nice and tight over the bead. And I'm just going to give it one wrap between the bead and the thorax to hold it. Now I'm going to take the legs on each side, and I'm just going to pinch on my vise with my left hand so that they're at that 45-degree angle. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to secure it with just a few wraps. And you can really muscle these. These are not delicate, this super hair. You can really muscle it into place the way you want. But if you see, I've got the legs kind of coming out at a 45-degree angle on each one. Now I'm going to lift the Mylar here. I'm just going to do one wrap in front, just like that. Come in. Snip that. And now I'm just going to put a whip finish on that thread collar that I have going on behind the bead. Now I'm just going to cut these half the length of the hook, and they'll just kind of flail around all over the place, no rhyme or reason. And I'll take the tail. What I like to do is really tug on that tail to make sure it's nice and straight back here, and the same length on the tail. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to put a drop to simulate a bubble on the flash, covering the thorax and coming up to the top of the bead. I've got some air in this thing. Here we go. And this is this fly signature, is that air bubble right there. And I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to hit it right away with my UV light. And that bubble really adheres to that collar that's underneath pretty good, and you can fish this for quite a while. I mean, eventually you're going to fish this so much that bubble's going to come loose, but it holds on for quite some time. Quite a few fish too. The one Achilles heel to this fly is back here where you tied in those strands, because this is just thread back here at the tail. So if you want, you can put a little bit of head cement just right there, just a little dab of head cement to help secure those threads. I don't typically do, because I just mass produce these things, and as soon as I get I catch a toothy brown or something and it tears it up, I just put a new fly on. They're not hard to tie, so I don't put a ton of effort into, but it's still got quite a bit of hold. And I just put just a little bit of head cement on that bubble, just to make sure that it shines. That UV resin will get beat up on the river and it'll start to kind of scratch, and it's not as clear. You put a little head cement on there, it helps with its longevity. But that's the DM Midge right there, and it's a good pattern. My buddy Chris and I, we've taken it to a lot of tailwaters, and it just really had good days when other people were struggling, especially if you're looking at going up to the Taylor or the Blue or even the Frying Pan River in Colorado. We've taken it on, like I said, Gray Reef and fished the North Platte, and it is a good pattern. And you can tie it anywhere from size 14 all the way down to size 24. For the wading tailwaters, I like it in a size 22. For the bigger tailwaters out on the North Platte, I like a size 16 and size 18. Those seem to work pretty well. Some variants of this fly. I tied one up. So this pattern, this is the original, but you can tie it in all sorts of colors. I even tie it in purple and whatnot. But I want to show you guys this. This is the most productive variant of this fly. And I actually call it the Darth Baetis because it definitely looks more like a Baetis pattern than any kind of a midge pattern. And this fishes year-round. I have an entire row of these copper ones that I've tied, and this one definitely produces the more, but more fish. But this one in the wintertime, the red and black, this will bring some fish to the net. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go check out, for all my fly tying videos, if you're having a hard time finding them on YouTube with the search engine, you can just go to combatflyfishing.com. I have a link to all my videos that I do on YouTube, at least my fly tying videos. And post your comments and let me know how this thing fishes for you. You will not be disappointed. This thing really rocks. You can fish this thing with a lot of confidence. So also check out my book, Cast Out of Darkness. You can go to my website, combatflyfishing.com, for a link on how to buy it off of Amazon. It's getting 5 stars on Amazon. And go check us out on Facebook too. And just follow me around town. I don't care. Yeah, just any kind of following you want to do, that would help me out a lot. So anyway, thank you.